The story begins with a lovely family scene in which the mother passes her newborn infant to the family maid, Malaria. Malaria takes the kid into her arms, hesitantly, and is told by the mother to take good care of a new family member. We are transported from this loving family to another universe, where Kamishiro Akira Sensei has just received the Daikusha Manga Award for his outstanding work this year. Akira is a well-known mangaka who rose to prominence at an early age. However, on his path to fame, he became arrogant and harsh to his assistant, losing friends and even his girlfriend. Nonetheless, he had no regrets about his acts. It was too late when he realized he was mistaken. However, just as Akira believes he is unbeatable, he receives dreadful news regarding his health: cancer of the blood. The shock is enough to make him nervous. Above that, he has only a few years left to live. What is he going to do now? When Akira remembers that he is scheduled to arrive with his family for the necessary treatment, his pain intensifies. But it's at that instant that it hits him. He is absolutely alone because no one cares about him. Akira is wallowing in shame because he made his life so meaningless by burying himself in achievement. Suddenly, he receives a phone call from his mother, pleading for money. Akira, on the other hand, is in desperate need of emotional assistance at this point. He informs his mother that he has blood cancer and that he has little time. He is so terrified that he needs her assistance and asks her to accompany him to the hospital. Although his mother agrees to come, she immediately asks the money. Akira is astounded to learn that his mother valued money more than her son's life even today. Finally, he has had enough and lashes out at his mother. However, a mother and her daughter suddenly appear in front of his automobile. To protect them, he reverses his automobile and is hit. In his final hours, he recalls his mother bringing him manga. It made him feel so joyful and cherished, and that's when he realized all of his celebrity was for naught. What he genuinely desired was a tranquil setting. Nonetheless, Akira awakens in a gloomy area, perplexed about the situation, until he discovers that he is dead and has the option of choosing a mother for his new existence. The screen shows 5 stunning women. Akira realizes he is about to be reborn and is offered the option of selecting a parent. And with all of these wealthy women surrounding him, he was certain to achieve fame and prosperity. These are the 2 things he despises the most, and he never wants to experience that hollow success and loneliness again. Fortunately, the 5th applicant is a commoner who can offer him a simple existence. As a result, Akira is born as the son of Diva Roland, the only daughter of a wizard. For the first time in a long time, he feels affection and warmth, and his mother greets him with a bright smile. Finally, Akira is given the opportunity to live in a calm environment with a loving family. Now, fast forward 7 years. The Rainford Magic Shop thrives in the royal capital, with a cheery mother and son greeting guests, and the 2 spend a nice, wholesome moment together. At home, Akira's father, Carl Rainford, arrives and embraces him warmly. As the boy is having the time of his life, he reflects on his background and tells himself to be nothing more than an ordinary guy so that he can enjoy being in his quiet environment. Furthermore, Akira's joy is multiplied when his father presents him with a delectable cake. But just then, his greatest foe prevents him from tasting the bite of joy. This monster is none other than the housemaid, Arya. She chastises Akira for skipping sword classes and chastises him for his lack of talent in sword combat and magic. However, the maid regards him as an enemy because she appears to be in love with Carl, according to Akira. Because his child from another woman is someone she will always dislike, she is constantly bullying him. As a result, as she grows up, Akira intends to exact revenge on her, but Arya spots him daydreaming during practice and smacks him. They then begin magical practice, and she instructs him to write healing chants on 5 scrolls by tomorrow morning. Scrolls are artifacts in this universe that may store magical power, and the magician can put magic in them by composing chants. Normally, writing on these takes a long time, but Akira has another brilliant idea. As a mangaka, he employs his great drawing abilities to draw an image on the scroll rather of writing, which achieves the same impact in far less time. Moreover, he becomes curious to try new things while using his secret idea. Hence, the next day, there's chaos outside as slime is summoned, thanks to Akira, who drew a monster on a blank magic circle he made on the lake. Figuring out that scroll cannot materialize a life form, but his magic circles can. The boy realizes his cheating skill is revolutionary, but he also knows that having an unusual talent can be costly, so he will hide this skill and live. Unfortunately, Arya is too smart, and she realizes that it's impossible to write so perfectly on the scrolls in such little time, so he should write them in front of her. She knows the boy has cheated, but is mad at him for lying and not admitting it. Suddenly, Akira's past trauma returns to him. He becomes scared of it repeating all over again, so instead of understanding Arya, he tells her she shouldn't be here and runs outside. Afterward, he reaches the lake and screams there, which makes him feel better, and he begins to realize that he should apologize to the maid as he goes overboard with her. However, just then, something happens, which would make him regret his behavior even more. Akira is attacked, but Arya saves him while letting herself get badly wounded. The attack is by a fierce dragon, Basilisk, and it's impossible to go against him, but Arya wants to save Akira so desperately, she begs him to run away while she becomes the bait for the dragon. The boy sits there shocked, asking her why Arya would sacrifice herself for someone she hates. But she tells him that's absurd, because she's his guardian and he's her family. It's her responsibility to protect him. Once again, Akira realizes how stupid he is to make such assumptions because his Arya isn't like others, as she's the one who always protected him. Unfortunately, they're in a grave situation, and Akira has to run to save himself, except he doesn't. Instead, he decides to find the courage and protect what's precious to him, including Arya. Using magic, Akira creates a large blank magic canvas, and after a few seconds of thinking, he decides to draw the basilisk dragon and quickly materializes a copy of it. The imitated dragon attacks the original basilisk dragon, and although Akira's magic is depleting, he pushes himself forward to defeat the enemy. Finally, the basilisk dragon is defeated, and Arya is saved. As the maid gets closer to the boy, she wonders how the son of commoners and a boy with no apparent talent can have such an exceptional power hidden inside. Meanwhile, Akira has fainted from overusing his magic. Arya picks him up with a face that seems to be more curious than ever. At their home, Akira finally wakes up after being in a coma for 3 days due to overusing his magic. His mom is overly joyed to see him happy and tells him that his father has gone to kill the drain bat, who sucked up his magic. Looking at Arya, the boy feels glad she's alive and realizes she lied to everyone about a drain bat so that his skill would stay hidden. Moreover, Carl worked hard to find and feed Akira a rare elixir to save him, while his mother stayed up looking after him for 3 days. Hearing this, the boy feels very guilty for worrying about his family so much, when he only wants to be their best son. Finally, Carl returns home after being exhausted from finding the drain bat, but once he sees Akira to be awake, he finally relaxes and faints on the spot. At night, the secret genius is unable to sleep from exhaustion, as he was saved from the brink of death because if a person's magical powers reach 0, they die. Therefore, he was only saved due to the elixir. Suddenly, Arya enters the room to check up on Akira as he is groaning in pain, and she gets worried seeing that his face is getting red. Little does she know he's red due to seeing her in that see-through nightgown. Since the boy stops Arya from waking up Diva, Arya gets into the bed with him instead to help him circulate magic inside his body. While wrapped up in her arms, Akira instantly begins to feel warm and comforted. This was a soft side of his maid, and he had never seen this side of her. Afterward, Akira confronts her about her romantic feelings towards his father and apologizes for not respecting those feelings. However, the boy is absolutely embarrassed when Arya reveals that she never loved Carl. He's only an employer and a friend to him. On the other hand, there is someone else that she wishes to be with. It's Akira. Arya is well aware that Carl would never desire someone like her, But Akira is unique. Someone the entire world would want because, at such a young age, he summoned a massive monster that will only get stronger. She's not fit to parent someone so extraordinary, but she can't help but expect me to be with him. Hearing this, Akira feels concerned that his abilities may be revealed. He's considering an excuse to provide her for keeping his power hidden. Just then, Akira is able to justify his desire to remain low-key so that he can enjoy his life with his parents and operate the magic shop, rather than being exposed as a summoner and working for the nobles. He begs Arya not to inform anyone in order for him to live in peace. Akira is confident that he has put on a convincing performance, but the maid is fixated on consulting with his father, as he is the one who decides his son's future. However, another opportunity knocks on Akira's door when Era declares her desire to be his woman so she won't be a servant and can do anything he wants. It takes a while, but the boy realizes she's asking for marriage. As a result, Akira vows to marry her when he is an adult, but only on the condition that she keep his abilities a secret, and that if she breaks the contract, the marriage would be annulled. The following day, Arya trains Akira to further investigate his summoning powers. She explains that a summoner must first form a contract with their summon before the monster will follow them. However, because he possessed a cheat code, the child did not do anything like make a contract. All he had to do was visualize what he wanted to summon and pour magic into his fingertips, and the summon would materialize. Arya is utterly taken aback once more. She has never heard of summoning without a contract, but she lends him her power and begs that he create an advanced golem, a highly difficult creature to call due to magic resistance. While Akira is attempting to summon it, Arya wonders whether there is any chance he might summon him. Surprisingly, the clever youngster draws the drawing perfectly and summons the golem without any contract. Arya is utterly taken aback. All she can think about is how this small youngster defied the laws of the universe. At the same time, Akira's power frightens Arya since it has the potential to destroy the planet if it falls into the wrong hands. As a result, she makes him vow to only show his skills to others when she fully comprehends them. Following that, Arya returns to ruthlessly training swordsmanship Akira, who is not really interested in sword fighting but is required to learn it by his teacher. After completing his training, the boy draws the elixir and drinks it, regaining all of his magical abilities. Unlike the poor adventurers who rarely get their hands on it, Akira can easily manufacture and drink it indefinitely, albeit he must still feel an enhancement in his magical powers. As a result, he tries firewood splitting to increase his magical limit, although he appears to be terrible at it. But then he hears a child's voice taunting him and changing the subject to ask him about the scroll. However, the girl terrified Akira since she approached him so silently that he didn't detect her, but what worried him more was whether he noticed his secret skill. The adorable girl is intrigued by Akira's seemingly unique gift, but he is able to divert her attention and change the subject. The female then tries to assist him by showing him how to use a sword. She performs a demonstration by swiftly cutting a wood thrown at her, which astonishes Akira because she does it so exactly with a movement he's never seen before. She's clearly a pro. She presents herself as Midas Blinstard, son of Count Blinstard, and expresses her interest in him. Nobody could have predicted this trap, not even Akira, who was surprised to discover he was a boy. He was so cute, he looked like a female. The reincarnated youngster reveals himself after nearly dying of shame, and because Midas is so nice, the two end up becoming good friends. Akira informs him about the city, and the nobleman recommends they meet again tomorrow so he may teach him sword fighting. After a few days, Akira and Arya are bathing together, and the small boy, much older than he appears, is too nervous to bathe with a beautiful elf and is attempting to get out and wash alone. The elf inquires about a book, arguing that it is impossible to summon non-living objects, but she is unaware that Akira can. Furthermore, they explain the high-level creatures referenced in the book and warn him that attempting to call such a monster without aid can cause him to exhaust his magic and kill him, so he must refrain from doing so. Furthermore, she tells him of a fabled warrior known as God of War, who is born of a goddess and specializes in swordsmanship, has boundless magic, and his red eyes serve as his identification. This red-eyed hero is the most powerful of all. Sounds interesting, but it's not what Akira aspires to be. Carl gets home after a long day, but he appears concerned because the city is in danger, because an evil cult is snatching youngsters and is said to be using them as sacrifices. He warns Akira not to go to any secluded areas since he is worried about him. Following that, the child and Midis continue to play and battle with their swords, but Akira cannot land a single blow on that amazing young aristocrat. While taking a break, Akira informs Midis that an evil cult is snatching children, which is dangerous, and that they should return home since he is afraid of such people. Midis, on the other hand, is enraged to learn about the cult and believes that because he is strong, it is his duty to aid others. On the contrary, Akira completely disagrees with him, claiming that a talented person exerting himself for others will only make him lose in vain. Hearing this, Midis becomes upset and walks away to return home. Despite Akira following him, he's unable to see her anymore and starts to feel unconscious. Moments before, he remembers the word of caution spoken to him by his parents, realizing that he's now in danger. Opening his eyes, he sees himself chained behind iron bars, with many more children around him. There's no doubt about it, the evil cult has kidnapped Akira and his friend. Later, Midis also wakes up, but instead of worrying about their situation, he suggests fighting the bad guys and saving the children. Akira feels like he's lost his mind and tries to knock some sense into her, but he doesn't listen and instantly generates high-level flame magic. That's when Akira finds out something unexpected. His friend is no ordinary child. He excels in swordsmanship and magic. Moreover, her left eye is red, proving that he's the legendary hero. Finally, Akira's relieved to know that he's hit the jackpot, and there may actually be a chance of them getting saved without him having to use his powers. Midis effortlessly melts the metal bars, and they're running outside when some evil cult members stop him. However, he produces flame magic and quickly runs directly into them, burning them down with his bare hands. His speed is so fast they can't stop there. Akira's confident in him and tells Midis to run away. At the same time, he yells to be the leader of the cult. They reach an awkward situation as their opposite ideals want them to do two different things. Daiva, on the other hand, is worried sick at home because Akira hasn't returned home, and she suspects the terrible cult has kidnapped him. However, Arya remains cool because she understands the true hidden strength of that boy. Meanwhile, two friends are debating because Akira believes that battling the wicked cult without knowing who they are is too dangerous, and that they should instead flee and seek help from adults. Nonetheless, Midis is too solid in his ideas and would rather save all the children. As a result, the two are unable to find common ground. The terrible cult is sacrificing children at the location to create a light of life commanded by their leader, a mystery black woman. Faced with no other choice, Midis resolves to risk his life for his beliefs, dashing towards the strong boss. Meanwhile, he begs Akira to stay behind, but their relationship is too strong, and Akira is compelled to accompany him in this tough quest. They approach the altar, where innocent youngsters are being led to their deaths. The image frightens Akira and makes him want to run. Midis, on the other hand, is propelled ahead by his rage, demanding the liberation of the captives from the clutches of the cultists. A mystery woman appears behind them during this critical moment. Midis reacts quickly, launching a strike, but she escapes unhurt, her aura shrouded in mystery. Unruffled, the aristocrat proceeds to remove the cultists one by one, demolishing them gradually. Their collective awakening occurs. Their hero is Midis. The ultimate opponent is none other than the cult's leader. Even in the midst of this climatic battle, Akira begs Midis to let him go. The unyielding aristocrat is driven by an unwavering conviction to demonstrate that justice will triumph over all odds. However, an unexpected twist occurs as an overpowering magical force appears on the earth, frightening both Midis and Akira. The realization hits them. The commander has exceptional summoning abilities, summoning a high-level stone golem. Due to its intrinsic resistance to magic, this terrible foe becomes practically invincible, casting an even darker shadow over their arduous conflict. As the water rises, Akira knows how bad their situation is. Midas, on the other hand, remains unwavering in his belief that his strong magical talents can yet break the tenacious stone golem. Midas summons his whole might and channels the height of his magical prowess, releasing a spell of unprecedented scale on the golem. His hopes are pinned on reducing it to ashes, yet the golem effortlessly discerns and neutralizes the magic, disheartening Midas. The cult leader taunts him cruelly, ridiculing his failed attempt and stripping away his pride. Midas's defiance persists, despite the leader extending an offer of pardon in exchange for an apology. He holds his ground, refusing to bow before her. This stubbornness, however, only serves to intensify the leader's retribution. The golem's brutal blows rain upon Midas, and he endures the punishment, resolute in his refusal to yield. Akira, unable to bear witness to his friend's suffering, pleads for Midas to reconsider. He implores him to apologize and bring an end to the torment, yet Midas remains steadfast, prioritizing his principles over his well-being. At this critical juncture, the leader plans to inflict greater anguish. She threatens to harm Akira in retribution. In a heart-wrenching moment, Midas's unwavering facade crumbles. Overwhelmed by regret for his arrogance and disregard for Akira's counsel, he surrenders his pride and extends a heartfelt apology. Tears stream down his face as he confronts his shortcomings, realizing the depth of his mistakes. Seeing his sad friend, Akira's resolve solidifies. He is no longer willing to cower or flee, but recognizes the need to emulate Midas's selflessness and compassion. Reflecting on his past self, he acknowledges his shortcomings and aspires to transform into someone who uplifts others rather than merely pursuing personal success. With unwavering determination, Akira makes a life-altering decision. He vows never to revert to his former self, committing to employing his abilities to rescue others, echoing Midas's noble example. This newfound purpose propels him forward, infusing him with renewed strength and purpose. As the fierce confrontation rages on, Akira's unwavering resolve becomes a beacon of hope, illuminating a path toward redemption and liberation from the clutches of darkness. As they stand united against the impossible odds, Midas and Akira draw upon their unwavering bond to forge a powerful synergy. Their spirits intertwine, and a surge of determination courses through their veins. In this pivotal moment, they discover a profound truth. Their collective strength and selfless resolve possess the potential to transcend even the mightiest of adversities, promising a glimmer of triumph amidst the shadows. With a surge of mystical energy coursing through his fingertips, Akira embarked on a spellbinding feat, conjuring forth an expansive magical canvas that stretched before him like an uncharted realm. His intentions were nothing short of audacious, to breathe life into the very essence of his imagination, sculpting an advanced golem that defied the boundaries of conventional conjuration. It was a spectacle that defied belief, leaving both the leader of their company and the enigmatic Metis in a state of incredulous awe, their eyes fixed upon the spectacle of a young prodigy commanding the arcane arts with an unbridled mastery. Yet, as the tapestry of his ambition unfolded, a chilling realization swept over Akira like a shadowy veil. The price of his conjuring prowess had begun to manifest, a searing pain that traversed the depths of his being, a testament to the precarious balance he had dared to disrupt. The specter of magic deficiency loomed ominously, threatening to snuff out his nascent brilliance before it could fully illuminate his destiny. Despite his prodigious talents, Akira was confronted by the unforgiving truth that his magical prowess had yet to transcend the confines of the intermediate level. A fleeting glimpse into the annals of his memory transported Akira to a juncture in his past, a vivid recollection of painstakingly refining a character until it retained its original allure, despite the myriad iterations it underwent. This introspective reverie proved to be the catalyst for a profound epiphany that now unfurled within him. A daring gambit took shape as Akira contemplated a radical approach to his visionary pursuit, a synthesis of the advanced golem he had envisioned, woven seamlessly with judicious simplifications that would render it attainable within the strictures of his magical limitations. As the crescendo of his arcane orchestrations reached its zenith, an iridescent transformation began to envelop the burgeoning construct before him. With a triumphant flourish, Akira unveiled his modified creation, a fusion of innovation and homage that paid deference to the original character of his intent while remaining a testament to his adaptability and resourcefulness. In the shadow of his unconventional feat, derisive laughter erupted from their adversary, a taunting testament to the departure from the convention that Akira's creation represented. Yet beneath the veneer of mockery lay a begrudging acknowledgement. The enigmatic golem that now stood sentinel was an embodiment of advanced enchantment, bearing the unmistakable signature of mastery that only a prodigy of Akira's caliber could bestow. Ever astute and possessed of sagacious discernment, Akira elected to prioritize the safety of Metis, a testament to his unwavering nobility and brave heart. Only once the mantle of protection was firmly in place did he turn his attention to the disdainful interloper who had underestimated his preternatural potential. With a flourish of conviction and an incantation imbued with relentless power, Akira unshackled the full force of his magical prowess, sweeping aside doubt and dissent in a maelstrom of metaphysical energy that bespoke his ascendancy beyond the ordinary. A newfound equilibrium settled upon the battlefield in the hallowed aftermath of his arcane display. Akira, the youthful harbinger of boundless potential, stood resolute, a testament to the inexhaustible reservoirs of innovation that thrived within his spirit. And as the dust of conflict dispersed, the tapestry of his destiny unfurled, a tableau rich with promise and the intrepid hues of an untold future. Since defeating the summoner will make the creature disappear, Akira attacks the leader and saves Metis from the enemy's golem. Since he's almost out of magic, he quickly tries to escape, but is stopped by the evil woman still alive. Using a scroll, she summons the worst possible creature, divine beast Leviathan, a water monster that is very strong against the golem. It attacks Akira's golem, but he protects it with an earth wall and shoots a destructive beam. This leaves the enemy appalled as she sees the boy control his golem in his way, making her constantly question his humanity. However, it's only late once the beast starts overpowering the golem, crushing it from its waves. When it tries to shoot the destructive beam, the creature defends itself. At this point, Akira begins to lose hope as he's out of magic power and cannot fight back anymore. Nonetheless, he's still unwilling to let go of his second life so easily because he knows this is his own idea and his creativity can save. That's when he sees the empty scroll from earlier and gets the idea to draw an elixir and drink it to get the boost. At the same time, Akira's golem is destroyed, and he's seconds away from being killed. Unfortunately, the scroll is used, so it has no magic, and since he cannot infuse magic himself, he cannot use the scroll. Yet in the last moments, Akira doesn't give up and asks Metis to infuse his magic into the scroll. This is the only option to save them because he has never been able to use magic, which is why he discovered the cheat of drawing on scrolls. Amidst the looming threat, the enemy's overconfidence swells as she stands on the verge of overpowering a formidable young child, Akira. Sensing the dire situation, Akira reaches for a magic-infused scroll, etching an elixir onto it, which he consumes. Instantly, a surge of magical energy courses through him, elevating his power to a level capable of challenging his adversary. The woman dismisses his actions as a foolish ploy, but her skepticism is shattered when a breathtaking spectacle unfolds before her eyes. A living, blazing, fire-advanced golem materializes, a creation tailored to combat the water-affiliated beast. Paralyzed by astonishment, the enemy remains immobilized as the golem relentlessly pounds her creature into oblivion, the battle ending in a dazzling flash of destruction. Beyond the coastal confines, a colossal explosion catches the attention of onlookers, prompting swift preparations for reinforcements as they rush toward the cliffside battleground. Meanwhile, Akira's strength wanes within the cave's confines, leaving him utterly drained. Summoning his remaining vitality, he implores Metis to flee to safety. Miraculously, Akira's plea is answered by the timely arrival of his father, Karl, leading an army. Together, they repel the threat, securing the salvation of all. Yet Metis remains intrigued by the enigma of his friend's true identity. Akira, however, evades direct answers, entreating Metis to safeguard the secret of his newfound power. Thus, the incredible potential of a gifted summoner remains concealed, at least for the present moment. With the situation finally under control, the two friends finally rest and spend the last few moments together, appreciating each other before getting separated. Before Metis leaves, he tells Akira his real name, Metis Fina, Mayan, his real name. The boy is surprised to see Metis have such a girly name and doesn't think more of it since his heart is filled with respect for his first ever true friend. Meanwhile, it's revealed that Mayan was undercover this whole time, and she is a girl, a princess, who is pretending to be Metis. On the other hand, Akira is struck with unbearable pain in the night due to mana exhaustion, and the only way to save him is by inserting mana from outside into his nerves. However, this would make him incapable of ever handling mana again. The procedure is carried out successfully, but a danger knocks on their door at night. The woman from the evil cult is talking to Arya as she's taken notice of the boy's power, and the organization referred to as the End is interested in him. Still, the maid warns the evil woman never to come near the child, as she has sealed his power, and she will be against her and the organization if she does otherwise. Hearing this, the evil woman revealed to be Marwaria bids her farewell. However, how long can Arya hire this power, and what exactly is the End capable of? After a few days, Akira finally goes to their usual spot every day to meet Metis, but he never shows up again. And just like that, time flies away. Years later, the kingdom of Stromheim faces a possible catastrophe due to seeing signs of a dangerous species called Odar. Hence, to protect the queen, guards and magicians are being gathered, and a knight is requested to find the man who's best at summoning magic. In the year 698, in the Stromheim kingdom, an army of Odars appeared, a species with fortified bodies that would suck the lives out of humans, and their corpses would become Odars too, increasing their numbers tenfolds. Soon, the whole kingdom was taken over, and to fight against them, the Pennsylvanian magic squad was brought with magicians and summoners. Due to their assistance and the role of great hero, Sword Mayan and his wife, Celeria the Queen, the kingdom was saved, although it cost them their lives. Hence, humanity formed alliances to face them in the future, took greater measures, and conducted training to prepare humans for possible occurrences of Odas. Coming back 14 years later to the present, the Stromheim people flourish in peace. Meanwhile, our protagonist Akira has grown up and is currently losing money in gambling, which he played to help out his friend. His friend mocks him for being hung up on things, which leads them to quarrel, as Akira asks him for his money back because he's in debt of 9,000 gold coins. However, his friend complains that both have no talent or luck, especially Akira, who has no magic despite being a magic shop owner. Although he did have abilities, he lost them during the incident in his childhood, making him completely magicless and now living a very average life. While Akira claims to be content with his boring life, as he has no marriage or job problems, the gorgeous bar waitress walks in and offers to go out on a date since he has no wife yet. However, the boy refuses her. Suddenly, Arya comes to the inn to take Akira with him, making his friend tease him that she's the one he's interested in. Although he refuses, his red cheeks blow his cover. While the two are walking back home, Arya informs Akira that a guest from the royal palace is waiting for him. On their way, the taunts by his friend start to bother Akira, as he is reminded of the incident 8 years ago which caused him to be unable to handle his mana, and he can only do drawings if someone's mana is summoned into him, something only Arya knows. Still, he tries to make himself feel okay with having no powers. Before he realizes it, Akira enters a dating spot with Arya, which makes him feel shy, as if they're a couple too. Suddenly, she holds his hand, which worries him more, but that's a way for her to comfort him, telling him that even if he's magicless, he's still Akira, and that's what matters. Consequently, he feels better knowing that despite everything, his family has always loved and supported him, something no money or fame could buy him a peaceful life. Finally, they arrive, where the royal knight awaits them, confirming with him if he's the genius summoning sorcerer. Upon hearing her voice, a surge of fear courses through Akira's veins, his mind racing with the possibility that she might have uncovered his closely guarded secret. Furthermore, an uncanny resemblance between her appearance and someone from his past sends shivers down his spine. Unmet by a response, the knight showcases her prowess, executing lightning-fast sword slashes that blur before the eyes, conjuring breathtaking cascades of luminous light. Akira's heart races as he witnesses the display, a maneuver previously witnessed only by Medes. Intrigued, the lady christens her feat as the magical flash, a hitherto undisclosed technique passed down within the Mayan lineage. With an air of authority, she reveals herself as Katya Mayan, the esteemed commander of the Royal Knights, and intriguingly, Medes' sword instructor. The revelation of Katya's connection to Medes sparks a mix of emotions within Akira. Delight washes over him as he hears news of his long-lost friend, yet a lingering question gnaws at his mind. Why would Medes take an interest in him after all this time? His concern deepens when Katya confirms her purpose. She seeks him out due to his unique summoning ability. Apprehension tightens its grip on the young boy as he fears his tranquil, ordinary existence is now in jeopardy. Yet Katya's assurances soothe his nerves, quelling his apprehensions. A seemingly ordinary encounter unfolds at a quaint cake shop where Akira casually converses with Katya. Playful banter ensues, and Akira ventures into an amusing yet futile attempt at flirtation. However, his comedic endeavor is punctured by a stark revelation. Katya is significantly older than him. The realization strikes him like a lightning bolt. This woman before him, Katya Mayan, had once been one of the potential maternal figures considered before his journey into this world. The unexpected discovery sends Akira's emotions into a whirlwind, his excitement nearly overpowering him. In a surprising twist, Katya is embarrassed, clarifying that she remains unmarried. Akira's mind races as he contemplates the implications. Could his other potential mothers also inhabit this world? As the conversation evolves, Akira musters the courage to inquire about Katya's true purpose in seeking him out. With an uncontainable burst of words, she reveals the nature of her visit, a proposal for him to join her party to defeat a formidable flame dragon, capitalizing on his unique ability. The weight of her request dawns upon Akira, signaling the beginning of a new, extraordinary chapter in his life. This venture promises both challenges and revelations beyond his wildest imagination. Consequently, Akira's inability to comprehend this foolish request tells her he can no longer use magic since his mana nerves were damaged in childhood. Still, Katya doesn't believe him, because Medesfina told her that he hides his powers until his friends need them. Hence, she suggests to Akira that if he doesn't have a magic supply, she will give him magic through a prodigy sorcerer in her party from the legendary magic country of Pennsylvania. Moreover, they need him at any cost, as his summoned golem is needed to defend against the flame dragon. Additionally, he will be rewarded 10,000 gold as well. Now, the reward is something he cannot deny, since Akira needs the money to pay off the debt, plus he's given a mana supply. Plus, the sly knight would threaten him if he doesn't join, so Akira eventually agrees to her offer. The mission starts tomorrow, and the young boy's only hope is that the person who will supply him mana is friendly. Unfortunately, that's not the case, as the sorcerer is an arrogant lowly called Prawl, who's very skeptical of a so-called summoner without any mana supply. Hearing that the boy summoned a golem at 7, she begins to doubt him even more and supplies him mana so he can prove his skills to her. To her surprise, Akira instantly summons a low-level golem, but the summon consumes so much of her mana that she gets exhausted. The reason is that the mana is not reaching Akira's mana storage, aka mana pool, due to his damaged nerves, and are going directly to the golem. A person's magic amount depends on the size of their mana pool, through which their magic is cast. But since the external mana is not getting stored in Akira's mana pool, all of it is leaking out, which is a waste. This proves to Katya that the genius summoner wasn't lying about his condition, so she requests Prahl to cure his magic nerves since she's from the world's best magic nation and is a learned prodigy. But would it be possible to cure this foul-mouthed sorcerer? To cure magical nerves which have been frayed for years? Katya and Prahl find themselves amazed by the dazzling display of rainbow lights, a phenomenon entirely foreign to their knowledge. The enigma deepens as they confront the 5 distinct responses, ranging from the absence of light to shades of green, blue, red, and finally, gold. Perplexed by this unprecedented spectacle, the duo grapples with its inexplicable origins. At night, Katya diligently stands guard until Prahl arrives to take over. A conversation ensues, prompting the sorcerer to question the extraordinary fervor surrounding a seemingly unassuming individual, Akira. Katya proceeds to shed light on the matter, acknowledging the rarity of summoning an advanced golem at such a tender age, given the intricacies of his magical disruption condition. Delving further into her research, Katya reveals that Akira's father, Carl Rainford, is no ordinary man. Unbeknownst to many, Carl was a prodigious sorcerer who once graced the hallowed halls of the Magical Academy in Pennsylvania, earning the distinction of the premier wizard of his generation. Yet 18 years prior, Carl vanished from the annals of history, opting to abstain from the ravages of war and sought refuge in peaceful anonymity alongside his family. This newfound knowledge forges a deep-rooted belief within Katya and Prahl that Akira's extraordinary summoning prowess stems from his lineage, an inheritance of greatness from a father who reshaped the standards of the renowned academy. A steadfast affection for Akira blossoms in Katya's heart, a connection forged when their paths intertwine. Her unwavering resolve to protect him is a testament to the inexplicable bond that defies rationale. As dawn breaks, the time arrives to fulfill the mission's formidable purpose, confronting the fire dragon. Steeled with determination, Akira takes the decisive step, seamlessly conjuring an advanced golem with Prahl's supportive assistance. The sight leaves Prahl in profound disbelief, her astonishment mirroring the initial encounter with the rainbow lights. Yet the swift depletion of Prahl's mana foreshadows a looming crisis, placing the responsibility squarely on Katya's shoulders. With urgency coursing through her veins, Katya launches into action, her blade drawn to slay the fiery menace. However, the golem's sluggish movements reveal a deficiency in its mana supply, a hindrance that endangers their efforts. The peril escalates as the fire dragon expels a torrent of scorching flames, narrowly thwarted by the golem's timely defensive stance. A dire impasse looms as Prahl's mana dwindles, consumed by the insatiable appetite of the advanced golem. Faced with the specter of defeat, the resourceful sorcerer employs a fleeting yet ingenious solution. She channels her mana into Akira's magical nerves, temporarily augmenting his mana efficiency, while bold, incremental improvement remains insufficient to avert the impending mana depletion. Amidst the gathering storm, the authority figure emerges, the Royal Knight's commander. Undaunted, she charges forward, a blur of motion as her blade dances with deadly precision. She employs her signature technique, Suigon, and delivers a flurry of rapid strikes, culminating in the ultimate triumph, the fire dragon's decisive demise, defeated in a symphony of slashes. In this pivotal moment, the convergence of talents, Akira's summoning, Prahl's sorcery, Katya's courage, and the Knight's commander's mastery orchestrates a victory that is a testament to the enduring power of unity and unwavering determination. Hero is a mutation that the goddess of war has created to have a superhuman body with extraordinary magic. Additionally, the Mayan clan of Stormheim is among the 7 great houses which protect the world, and Suigon is the special technique in their bloodline. This rare technique is faster than light speed, as it allows the sword users to have 100 attacks on the enemy in a second, and the most famous ones of this bloodline are the Red Eye buff. With only one swing from her sword, the dragon lies slain on the ground by a true hero. After this intense battle, there's no doubt about Akira's ability anymore, although it almost killed poor Prawl from mana exhaustion. On the other hand, now Katya demands questions from Akira about how he possibly can summon a high-level creature at a young age, and the only conclusion she can have is that his father made him hide it so he could secretly develop his skills. Meanwhile, Akira is completely clueless about why she believes his father made him hide it, as all he knows about his father is that he's a simpleton shopkeeper. Moreover, Prawl also jumps in to pressurize that his father, the most talented spellcaster in the Magic Academy's history, possibly made the contract. That's when Akira finally realizes that he might not have known his father properly and might be a genius magician who chose his mother to live a simple life. Nonetheless, Katya finally decides to tell Akira the true reasons behind this mission, but a sudden, unforeseen catastrophe reaches them before she can finish. Behind them stands something they had never imagined fighting. Even in their nightmare, the divine beast, which slept near the dragon's nest. This world has 4 divine beasts: the divine beast of Earth Norm, the divine beast of Water Leviathan, the divine beast of the Wind Elfin, and the most powerful, the divine beasts of Fire Salamander. These legendary beings will not leave the ones who disturb them, as they are the supreme beings of each element, the monsters like gods. Battling him is almost impossible, and running away is risky. If he uses the blazing breath, it will melt everything around. Moreover, no other magic, not even ice, can be powerful against Salamander since it's the strongest. Only the Wind Beast Elfin or Leviathan and Norm can combine have a chance against him. The name Leviathan brings an old memory back to Akira's mind as the evil cult leader summoned Leviathan. Still, according to Prawl, anyone who summons the divine beast is no longer human. However, Katya reminds them this isn't time for discussion, as their life hangs on the line and it's either fighting or retreating. Unfortunately, retreating doesn't work out. Their only option is battle. Salamander throws his flame breath on them, but Prawl quickly defends them. Meanwhile, Katya goes ahead to fight the dragon directly. Worried about the situation, Prawl tells Akira that she's holding the barrier and that he should summon the golem using her mana in the meantime. Still, if the sorcerer uses any more of her mana, she will have severe magic exhaustion. Yet Katya is at risk, so they summon the golem to divert his attention. But that's not it. While putting up the barrier and giving mana, Prawl proves that she's a prodigy in Pennsylvania by also restoring Akira's magical nerves. At the same time, she also launches a 4th spell of weather magic to support Katya. Prawl deduces that she can improve Golem's mana consumption and mobility by lowering Akira's mana consumption. For this, she plans to connect his distant nerves. So she enters Akira's body with her consciousness, but what she sees keeps her eyes wide open. It's a bright rainbow light, which is his mana pocket, hidden behind severed nerves. Prawl Bryce is a mastermind magician. Even in the world's most powerful magical country, she remembers that the average mana pocket size is equivalent to a human heart, and the exceptional mages have theirs equivalent to a human height, or a little more. Moreover, Prawl was considered extraordinary throughout her life for her humongous mana pocket. However, hers is nothing compared to Akira, whose mana pocket is bigger than she has ever heard about before. But what's more mysterious is that the torn nerves around the pocket are placed in a way that seems to be deliberately hidden. Unfortunately, Prawl has returned her focus to the battle as the dragon prepares for an attack. She's trying to catch her breath when they are about to be hit by his fire breath, and Akira is close to losing his second life. But once again, Prawl saves him by putting up the barrier. On the other hand, Katya is struggling to fight against the dragon on the front lines. She sees the salamander's weak point, rumored to be the fire sac on his chest, and stabs it with her swinging technique. However, her attack is not enough to defeat him. Instead, the firebag turns into lava, which traps her. In the meantime, Akira escapes from the battle with Prawl, as they both are severely injured. Yet she's worried about leaving Katya behind. Still, the young boy clarifies that they will return after he gives her an elixir to restore her mana. Afterward, he will use her mana to defeat the salamander by doing something unbelievable, summoning the water beast, Leviathan. At Stroheim, the princess worries about breaking her promise to her beloved childhood friend for the country's sake. On the battlefield, Katya exhibits unwavering bravery despite her grievous wounds, determined to aid Prawl and Akira in breaking free from the dragon's clutches. A sudden colossal explosion triggers concern in the sorcerer's heart, yet the ingenious summoner promptly extends an elixir to Katya, miraculously restoring her health. Amid Akira's desire to summon Leviathan again and Prawl's lingering hesitation, Katya convinces them to give the audacious attempt a shot. Although the prospect of a human forging a connection with a divine beast seems improbable, Katya hesitantly embraces Akira's seemingly insane plan. Astoundingly, the entirety of Prawl's mana surges into Akira, empowering him to summon the majestic Leviathan creature successfully. The sight of the enigmatic boy summoning the divine water beast leaves Prawl both amazed and puzzled. Akira adeptly controls the aquatic behemoth, initiating its initial attack known as the Breath of Water, yet the spell drains excessive Prawl's mana, failing to substantially damage the formidable fire beast. Simultaneously, the sorcerer grapples with the challenge of replenishing mana at a rapid pace, strained by the relentless demands of the water beast. Amid this crucial juncture, she recollects an unfinished task, mending Akira's mana nerves, enabling him to utilize his abilities fully. Amid a fierce and intense battle, the two formidable creatures clash, their powers resonating in a titanic struggle. Amidst the chaos, Katya makes a startling revelation. The fearsome beast she confronts has been summoned by none other than Akira, leaving her stunned by his extraordinary abilities. This revelation triggers a flashback, recalling when the princess shared tales of the young boy's astonishing gifts, a potential savior of their world. However, there's no room for nostalgia, for Prawl's dwindling mana reserves are approaching depletion. The dire situation demands a solution, and their only hope is to obtain more magical energy to overcome the formidable salamander. Astonishingly, the brilliant sorcerer Prawl unveils a masterful strategy to bolster their energy. She directs Katya to temporarily transfer her mana to Akira, a daring move to amplify their chances of survival. Upon the mana exchange, Prawl mends Akira's mana reserves, meticulously restoring them to 30%. With a deliberate and skillful approach, Prawl employs her arcane talents, ultimately succeeding in revitalizing his mana reservoir. As the restoration nears completion, a surge of otherworldly magic courses through Akira's veins, building a crescendo of power. The once magic-deficient Akira is left dumbfounded by his transformed state. The sheer magnitude of magical energy now emanates from his form, manifesting as a radiant and ethereal aura enveloping his being. At a mere 30%, Akira's mana supply defies conventional limits, placing the responsibility squarely on his shoulders to harness this newfound might. Empowered by this remarkable infusion of energy, Akira stands poised to take charge. The battle's outcome hinges upon his ability to harness and channel this extraordinary power. He has no idea what's happening with the sudden overflowing magic in his body, but he knows what to do now. With so much mana of his own, Akira can finally make the best use of Leviathan, so he throws heavy spells on the fire beast one after another. While Prawl and Katya are standing enjoying the show, they realize it's time for them to charge too to assist him. Together, the two perform a joint attack, with Prawl using ice magic and Katya using her ultimate swing-in technique, which damages Salamander's legs, and he unbalances. At the same time, the Leviathan attacks its neck, but that doesn't defeat him as its weak spot is his heart inside the fiery sack. Moreover, the fire beast's heart is protected by strong muscle armor, which makes this even more challenging for them. But before they can discuss more, Salamander attacks them with its fire breath, and as usual, Prawl saves them with her magical barrier again, especially because without Akira's help, they're going to end dead. Now, it's up to the world's best mangaka to find out and come up with something against the divine fire beast. Although Akira has enough mana, Leviathan needs to be stronger than Salamander, and changing its size won't improve its power. However, that's when he realizes that he needs to be more creative and make a sketch that could concentrate all of its strength at one point. Akira finally has a formidable plan and tells Prawl to cover him for the next breath, as he will pierce Salamander's heart after its breath ends. For Leviathan to focus all of its power in one spot, he generously adjusts its shape by making a huge spear with its concertation point having all its power in the tip. The trio prepares for their final attack against Salamander using all their strength. Prawl is supposed to shield Akira, while Katya is to provoke it to use his fire breath. The young boy is ordering around 2 experienced combatants, yet they follow his plan as they believe in him. Katya wastes no time, runs straight into Salamander, and uses her swingin', damaging it enough to anger it. Meanwhile, Prawl uses an infinite protection spell by using mana from life energy to compensate for her short leftover mana, reassuring them to attack freely without worrying about protection. Consequently, Salamander throws his fire breath, which is so strong that it's about to break Prawl's protection as she's running out of mana. Surprisingly, Katya supplies her with mana which saves them. Finally, it's time for a showdown. Akira looked for the right moment to strike the spear, and the second the dragon breathed, it was his chance. With all his remaining mana, the Leviathan concentrates its power on the spear's tip and quickly shoots it at Salamander, piercing and slaying the heart. Akira's true power is uncovered as he defeats the strongest divine beast. On the other hand, the Rainford family is having a peaceful lunch, and Carl and Diva are discussing Akira's return and wondering where's Arya. Meanwhile, she's standing on the house's roof as if waiting for someone. Back at the battlefield, Prawl and Katya are still astonished that Akira defeated Salamander, and at the same time are relieved to know he's the jackpot who can save the country from the risk of orders. But seeing him like this causes them to have a billion more questions for Akira, but he's unable to answer them as he's so exhausted that he faints and starts burning up. Whereas 3 mysterious people-masked people have been watching them this whole time and are intrigued to find out that Akira can summon without a contract, which seems like a risk to them as it can affect their odor plan. These creatures are singularities, and they seem to acknowledge his power to be strong enough to a singularity level. They can eradicate him, but then they would have to go against one of the 4 shadows, Malaria of Perdition, aka Arya. 700 years ago, the 4 ancient singularities created by the gods started a war of domination and were nicknamed shadows because of their horrifying power. Amongst them, one wasn't interested in power, which was Perdition, created by one of the highest goddesses. Perdition was the one who ended the conflict that was between shadows, which were spawning their singularities, and made a pact forbidding the creation of new singularities. The singularities assume that Perdition broke the pact by creating a singularity which is Akira, until one singularity suggests that maybe she did not create this boy, and there's more to it. Moreover, the confusion concerns whether to end Akira or get him on their side. Still, since his power is too precious to destroy, they decide to observe him more before deciding, all of this, to bring back Icarus Enlil, a shadow. Meanwhile, at the Rainford residence, Akira has been brought back home, and Katya tells Carl the truth about their mission and apologizes. Afterward, she asks him why he hid Akira's true capabilities. On the other hand, in the north of the continent, in the country of Stormheim, the risk from Odarians is rising as a 3rd wave is expected to come soon, so they urgently need a squad of mages for assistance. While back at the house, Katya is still looking for answers from Carl and assumes that he's harboring his talent, but the father doesn't know about his abilities and cannot comprehend what she's saying. But of course, Katya believes that he's playing dumb and tells him everything from summoning a golem at 7 to having his mana pocket sealed. Furthermore, confirming that she's seen his powers, he needs to be enrolled in the Royal Academy of Magic and become a court summoner. Carl is shocked to learn so much about his son from a knight and requests her to give him time to talk to him. She agrees, but insists he considers the country's safety. At the same time, Akira's feeling hot because of magical exhaustion and hears Arya's voice telling him she'll take care of him. She calls him her husband and kisses him, which causes him to open his eyes and see her on top of him. He thinks she's doing something lewd to him and kicking her out of his room, but she was doing a massage to circulate the mana. Afterward, Carl comes to Arya and tells her they need to talk. Meanwhile, Akira is confused, thinking whether those words from Arya were a dream or reality, but moves on to making himself an elixir to heal. However, once he draws it, the scroll surprisingly catches fire. A scroll burning is something that never happened to Akira, and it makes him wonder whether it's related to the increase in his magic power. Suddenly, his mother walks in and tells him she has heard everything about his no-contract summoning and powers from the Katya. On the other hand, Carl questions Arya about Akira, as she had told him that 8 years ago, Akira's injuries were due to the cultists flooding him with mana, although he knew it wasn't true, but still kept the seal, all because he trusted it, although she's a perdition. He's worried about his other powers and wonders if she's behind all of this and is turning him to her singularity. Finally, Arya speaks and reminds him that he had promised her that he'd give her a family, due to which she's been serving him. Moreover, she explains that since childhood, Akira has had this summoning ability that surpasses the singularity. Since, too, she has been concerned about him becoming a target due to his powers. She tried to seal his magic. However, Carl's worried, since his power has still been exposed. He's now a target, and even with Arya's power, it couldn't be hidden. Additionally, Akira's powers may even be greater than a shadow. Carl's devastated to see his son have the same Rainford's curse of blood as him, but Arya suggests it's best to let him become the summoner for his safety, so the recognition could protect him. Moreover, she reminds him about the agreement between her and his ancestors and promises him that she will protect him against all the shadows. Afterward, Carl informs Akira that he is to attend the Magic Academy, and he knows everything about his power. However, he doesn't know about it completely, because some things are also hidden from Katya. Akira apologizes to his father for hiding it, but Carl is happy that he prioritizes his family's peace first. Moreover, since the court has learned about Akira's abilities, he must join the Court Magic Academy. Akira knows he has no choice but to accept his fate now. Although his dream was to live a simple life and inherit the magic shop, he has to leave his home for years. Despite this, Carl comforts him by saying he has a gift to save people and should develop it. Once again, the young boy is reminded of his past, which makes him cry as he feels upset that his fears of leaving home are coming true. His beloved father tells him to enjoy the new adventures while reassuring him that he has a home to return to. These words warm Akira's hurting heart as he feels glad knowing he can return to his family anytime. Once this emotional moment is over, the young boy teases his father that he's heard about him being a genius magician from Pennsylvania who left the academy, which embarrasses Carl, and he promises to tell him why once he's graduated. After 1 week, it's time for Akira to leave for the academy, and his family is lovingly bidding him farewell. When he arrives at Stormheim Fortress City, he's surprised to see how modern and advanced it is. Moreover, he's delighted that he can pay off his debt with the reward. However, when Katya tries to talk to him, he ignores her, which makes her annoyed. But Prowl explains to her that he's mad at her because she forcefully made him enter the academy, which makes her sad since she believes they share a strong bond. Afterward, Prowl parted ways with them as their journey together had ended, and Akira thanked her for saving him from the salamander. Before leaving, she advises him that Katya is someone who's trustworthy. Akira notices that the great mage is finally speaking to him with his name, which means she has finally acknowledged him. Soon they arrive at the palace, and Katya is excited to make him meet Medisfina. While waiting for her, Akira notices the gorgeous palace and is appalled by it. while at the same time he feels extremely nervous, wishing for Katya to return soon. Suddenly, he hears a voice behind him telling him not to turn around and asking him to tell how angry he is at Metis honestly, but Akira tells her he's not mad and turns around. He sees such a gorgeous woman standing before him that his eyes shine from admiration and shock. She asks him about his well-being and then instantly bows down and apologizes, blaming herself for breaking their promise. Despite this, Akira is completely lost. He has no idea who this woman is. She looks like royalty, but not someone he has met before. Suddenly, Katya comes and hits him for making the princess behave this way in front of him and not stopping her. But all the poor man wants is to find out who this woman is. And that's when Katya finally tells him that this is none other than Princess Metisfina of Stormheim. Akira is astonished to find out that this is his childhood friend Metis, who's a girl and a princess. Although he's still doubtful about it, Metisfina once again apologizes at the dinner table for breaking her promise to him, which she had to do after keeping it a secret for 8 years. While the princess is blabbering, Akira can't help but think about how gorgeous and sophisticated the princess is, his childhood friend. More than being upset about breaking the promise, Akira was hurt about how she had suddenly disappeared, but it was all due to reasons she could not express. The young boy holds no grudge against her, as his power is bound to be found anyways. However, suddenly Metisfina makes a major request from him, asking him to graduate from the academy and become a court summoner and her vassal. She further explains that children with magic must enroll in the academy and later choose their paths. But in the north, humanity is facing its biggest threats by creatures called odors. Moreover, they always remained, as they kept secret from the citizens. Still, odors have continuously kept on attacking the northern walls, and troops have been fighting against them this whole time. The only way to fight against them was by using magic, which required them to take help from nations and hence bringing the kingdom at risk from foreign influences. Consequently, she and other princes and princesses are ordered to search worldwide for extraordinary mages and summoners. Hence, she has to play her part efficiently and request Akira to become her vassal, as he's the strongest summoner she's ever seen.
However, after only a few seconds, he rejects her request by telling her he will go back and pursue his dream of inheriting his family's shop once he graduates. Metisfina is shocked to see her friend request her desperate plea, but apologizes and ensures she will not force him to stay after graduation. After this, she leaves the table and tells him his room is prepared. When Akira goes to bed, he's unable to sleep, feeling guilty about seeing such a sad look on Metisfina's face. But when he turns around, he notices Katya casually sitting on his window. Akira's flustered to see her in his room, but what surprises him even more is seeing the knight in her sleeping gown. He asks her what emergency led her to come into a man's room at night in her nightgown, but she comes because she has to confirm from her why he rejected her request. But Akira corrects her that it wasn't a request from his friend, but instead sounded like an order from a princess only interested in wanting the throne. However, Katya tells him that he has misunderstood the princess, as she's in a position where her throne could be taken from her. This is because she's the daughter of the second princess, not Queen Kaisera. In the war held 14 years ago, the couple who sacrificed themselves were the queen's sister, Celeria, and the heir of the Mayan family, and Metisfina, their daughter. For generations, the kingdom has been ruled by the queen. Still, when the brave hero died by the odors, Queen Kaisera left the supremacy of heroes in the country. Instead, she focused on the establishment of a magic academy where those under 18 with magical talent are supposed to strengthen their power. That's why Katya brought him here. Originally, the throne's successor was to be Queen's daughter, Ursula Stromheim, but she renounced her right to success. So Metisfina became qualified for it. Since the national law didn't allow men to succeed to the throne, the only option left was Metisfina. However, the first prince, Oswald Stromheim, would only allow this sometimes. Oswald had spent his childhood studying various magical powers in foreign countries, but when he returned, he disliked the country's tradition of focusing on heroes and swordsmanship. But when the war was over, people's attitudes towards the prince and magic changed. The queen focused on strengthening the country's magical powers. Hence, Oswald intends to change the country into a magical power. Years ago, there was even an assassination attempt on Metisfina, and it's possible that the prince's faction did it. Moreover, there was a good result of Oswald's magic policies. which led to the queen changing the country's policy that now, the prince has an equal right to succession. Hence, they both are now competing against each other for the throne. However, despite such a grave situation, the princess requested Akira rather than ordering him because she isn't that kind of a person. Despite his rejecting her offer, the queen excitedly listened to her friend's success tales earlier, showing how close he is to her heart. Hearing this, Akira feels relieved that his friend is still the same. Katya tells him that Medisfina is the only one capable of protecting this country, and it would be great if he would be by her side since she has acknowledged him so much. However, Katya soon gets into a playful mood and gets on top of Akira to tease him. But suddenly, Medisfine enters the room to talk to him, and is shocked to find his friend wrapped in the arms of her knight. The next day, Medisfina taunts Akira about the lewd scene she saw in his room last night, but they clear it out for being a misunderstanding, so she believes them and returns to being in her usual cheerful mood. They tour the palace and stand at the front gate when they hear a wagon stop next to them. Inside it is a man badly wounded. The princess instantly goes to him, holds his hand, and appreciates him for fighting bravely. Since these knights secretly fight odors, their hard work cannot be given credit. They sacrifice for the countries in the shadows. However, Oswell hears her and calls these swordsmen bargaining chips as they walk straight to their deaths. He explains that these odors are getting more dangerous every day, and soon the heroes are incapable of fighting against them because blades are now outdated and making the nation weak. On the contrary, Katya questions his act of bringing in mages associated with foreign nobles and believes that blades are their country's pride and of utter importance. It's needed along with magic, which is why he must apologize for his comment earlier. But Oswell informs her that even the Archduke, who's equivalent to the heroes, has requested reinforcements of mages. Moreover, he mocks her for not developing magic in the country and only trying to find talent among the commoners. Furthermore, he's gathered hundreds of summoners and mages under his command, but she has yet to, and if she cannot produce results, then she isn't worthy of being a leader. He even takes it to a greater extent by telling her that the best way she can serve the country is by becoming the wife of the second prince of a foreign kingdom so that Stormheim could get their support. But suddenly, a voice interrupts them. It's Akira who tells him she has one summoner. Although he didn't want to join her at first, he couldn't help but interrupt after hearing the prince's arrogant words, which reminded him of the past. Once he catches his attention, he introduces himself as Akira Rainford, Medisfina's summoner from the commoners. This short interaction with Oswell was enough to tell Akira about his true nature. This man was similar to his past self. On the contrary, Medisfina has compassion for others. Hence, he's chosen her as the leader of his country, and will have to support her to make that happen. Medisfina and Katya are thrilled to see he's on board with them. However, the prince becomes curious about him, since Rainford is a name he's heard before. Therefore, he introduces himself as the son of a magic shop owner, and needs clarification that it's impossible for him not to have heard of a talented commoner. And so, he goes on to mock him more. Seeing her friend mocked makes Medisfina extremely angry, so she proves his abilities with her words. However, Oswell is smart. He uses her anger and suggests doing a test to prove that he's stronger than his trained men by having a duel between the Academy's aristocrats team and the commoners team. If the commoners win, he will apologize to Akira, acknowledge the success of Medisfina's talent search, and educate the people. Still, if he wins, she will have to accept his terms, which are that she will acknowledge the involvement of foreign countries in magic development at Storheim and accept the marriage proposal he had mentioned. It's an obvious trick for the prince to throw Medisfina to the side and get the throne. Everyone knows there's no way she could accept it, except that she accepts his challenge and all the terms, because she's sure there's no way for her to lose as long as Akira is on her side. On the other hand, at the Stormheim Academy, Prahl Bryce is accepted for a teaching job after declining all other offers, only because she heard that things would be interesting this year. Meanwhile, there is a commotion between the commoners at the student cafeteria as they have heard about the duel between those brought by Medisfina and Oswell. But what everyone's more worried about is hearing that she will marry based on the contest's results. Moreover, their chances of winning are slim because of the huge difference between their powers. Seeing them worried, a nobleman, Demetrius Fonwell, arrives to enjoy the opportunity to tease them. He mocks Anthony for being a baker, Elisa for being a singer, and Annie for working at a pub, saying that a team like theirs is bound to lose. Finally, a man comes to stop him, Alistair Fonwell, Demetrius's older brother, but he's at a lower rank. He defends his friends by saying they're supposed to learn together without any differences, as those were the queen's intentions. But Demetrius says this challenge will decide everything as the princess will be sent off. Once he leaves, Everyone is more worried about the princess's decision and the very obvious outcomes of this duel. If they lose the outcome, the princess will go abroad, which means they will be kicked out of the academy too. The commoners have only 1 silver rank in their team. Meanwhile, the noblemen are gold ranked. However, the only hope is that they heard a rumor that the princess would win because she has a trump card, the strongest summoner.
Meanwhile, a woman steps forward and congratulates Akira on his successful admission to the Royal Magical Academy. She introduces herself as Greta Maverick and explains that she holds the role of summoning instructor and will also serve as his supervisor. She mentions hearing about Oswald's challenge and admires the courage, which Akira admits he accepted without thinking. In any case, Greta begins to explain that the academy has a 4-year curriculum, promotion exams held twice a year. It is a certified test for each rank, and the condition for graduation is to reach the rank of Gold Mage or higher within 4 years. Graduates receive the honorary title of State Mage and, if they are commoners, also attain the status of Baron. It is also permitted to marry into nobility. Greta adds this with a suspicious look, asking Akira what he thinks. However, training at the academy isn't easy. Those who fail to reach Gold Mage rank in 4 years are given only 1 additional year before being permanently expelled. On the way to the lecture, Akira thinks about this expulsion rule and believes it might be a way out for him. However, he is already the princess's chosen one and is participating in a duel among aristocrats. It is clear that he has already done enough to ensure there is no turning back. In this case, Akira thinks it might be better to excel, skip grades, and finish quickly, but obviously that would push his plan of a mediocre reincarnation even further away. At that moment, he remembers everything the princess has put on the line and forces himself not to let such a thing happen. However, he still doesn't know if he can win. Then Katya appears, wanting to talk. As she approaches, it turns out to be Metis again, there to apologize. Unfortunately, she has placed her friend in this crazy gamble without even asking him, and if he refuses to participate, it is clear she would lose. Not wanting to pressure Akira, she explains that she doesn't want to marry, which irritates him as it feels like emotional blackmail. Taking a deep breath, he asks what forces are on their side. This makes the princess incredibly happy that Akira agrees, though he warns he can't promise a victory. That is enough to bring Metis to tears, prompting Katya to point out that she is pressuring him too much. Metis then explains that she has been thinking for a long time about being an adult, and that maybe it would be better to marry a foreign alliance. Katya feels slightly disappointed, and Akira thinks about the fact that Metis is only 15 years old. Losing her parents at such a young age and becoming the heir must have caused her to suppress her emotions. So Akira thinks about wanting to help her because in some way he feels responsible. Because of his interference in their conversation, Metis has been placed in this position. Therefore, as a representative of the people of Stromsheim, Akira declares that he will help Metis build a society where people are equal, regardless of status. And in the best way he can, he supports his old friend in becoming queen. Hearing this, Katya feels deeply grateful, but Akira reiterates that he can't guarantee victory. Still, Metis doesn't care about anything else. She is happier now than she has ever been in her entire life. After a few moments of joy, Akira asks if she won't blame him if they lose, prompting both girls to tell him to shut up. Later, the commoners see for the first time the so-called strongest summoner, chosen by the princess in the classroom. Meanwhile, at the academy, the prince uncovers who Akira Rainford's father is during his research. It appears that Carl has severed all ties and gone into hiding among merchants, just as Metis hopes. Because of this, the prince wonders if Ermera knows anything. But in any case, from what the prince learns, Carl's son is useless. Even if he hides powers, he can't compete with the aristocracy, so the prince can only marvel at the princess's recklessness. On his first day of class, the hero is incredibly nervous because all eyes are on him. Without delay, the instructor mentions that, as everyone has heard, the hares prepare a competition to promote the academy, so they decide to postpone the lesson for now to name the competitors all at once. By level order, the first to be called is Alistair Fonwell, a level 15 bronze mage. Next are Annie, level 16, and Elisa, level 18, both also in the bronze rank. Finally, for the role of assistant captain, the elite summoner Anthony Green, level 21 in silver rank, is selected. As the only silver rank mage, the commoners count on him, making the boy anxious. But that isn't all. Now they have a secret trump card recommended by the princess. This trump card is the genius summoner Akira Rainford, who is appointed as the true captain. Everyone applauds with hope, causing the peaceful life Akira envisions to collapse. As a reflex from his time as a popular mangaka, Akira stands up and waves at the others. This makes Greta notice notice that he isn't bad with public interaction, while the others find his behavior strange. However, it is merely an unconscious act from Akira. Later, the princess trains with her mentor, and as Metis' sword wavers, Katya asks if she is worried about the academy. Metis admits that she feels she should have explained the situation in person, but Katya disagrees, saying the rumors about the powerful summoner are already spreading. If she involves herself further, there might be even more rumors, such as speculation about a relationship between the two. At this, Metis shouts in embarrassment, but for some reason, she seems disappointed that she hasn't gone. Without further distractions, the two resume their training, practically wrecking the castle in the process. Back at the academy, with the help of the electro-crystal crown, they can measure the amount of magical power. Anthony manages to reach 250, proving he deserves his silver rank. However, none of the others meet expectations, as they can't even reach 200. Since the enemy camp will likely have many gold-ranked opponents, Elisa grows frustrated at being mocked. Nevertheless, there is still Akira left to measure, and although he tries to delay it, the instructor insists that the allies need to know their leader. Reluctantly, Akira approaches the crystal. Since it is his first time, he is curious. Realizing it is inevitable, he decides to give it a try. As he touches the crystal, a light begins to glow, revealing a gold rank, but the numbers continue climbing. Then, abruptly, the crystal stops, classifying Akira as a level 7 mage with a total of 70 mana. Later, Elisa shouts, questioning how someone like that can be the trump card. With only 70 mana, Akira is weaker than even them. However, Alistair urges her to calm down. To him, it might be a case of a hidden talent revealed at a critical moment, but Elisa dismisses it, saying they are in a drama. After all, Akira isn't even ranked as bronze, and she blames the princess for this mess. Despite everything, Alistair believes it is meant as a plan. Still, given the circumstances, it seems the princess simply wants to get married. With that said, they wonder what will happen after the princess leaves and whether they can continue their studies. In the student dormitory, Anthony claims the bottom bunk and Akira has no issue taking the top one. On the other hand, Anthony offers Akira the locker, assuring him not to worry about anything. The position of captain, he explains, is likely just a simple formality, as they haven't really consulted Akira before making the decision. Anthony speculates that Akira is only there because of the princess's expectations. Now, their chances of victory seem bleak. However, Akira interrupts to ask some questions about the academy. Anthony apologizes for blaming him and offers to answer what he can. Ultimately, it isn't about rank, but Akira hasn't expected his mana to be just 70. From the others' disappointed reactions, it is clear what those numbers mean. Akira realizes that this world's tools can't accurately measure mana enhanced by elixirs. Deciding to keep his powers hidden for now, Akira focuses on understanding the situation better. Anthony suggests they get to know each other. Introducing himself, Anthony expresses his happiness about having a roommate. Akira reciprocates, saying he looks forward to learning from him, which delights Anthony. Later, Annie nervously asks what they will do in the competition. Feeling that the princess has misjudged Akira, Anthony agrees. In their earlier conversation, Akira has shown little knowledge of magic and likely none about summoning. But even without a chance to win, they cannot give up because there is only one option. Hearing this, Annie cannot understand why the princess is doing this, but Anthony asks her to trust him for the first time because he will definitely find a way to win no matter the cost. Hearing everything, Demetrius appears, asking how a newly promoted silver rank mage plans to face them. With a look of disdain for both of them, the noble comments that he has already heard about the summoner fraud. In his view, something like this is obvious, so he suggests the commoners return to where they belong before further embarrassment. Moreover, Demetrius states that when Annie returns to the brothel, she will be the only one he visits, which enrages Anthony. In this case, the noble asks if Anthony really believes he can win, and though unsure, Anthony refuses to give up, especially in a fight against Demetrius, since they are both silver rank mages. Hearing this, Demetrius acknowledges that reaching silver rank is quite an achievement for a commoner. However, he declares that Anthony in boasting has forgotten to address the nobility with respect, which constitutes insolence. Therefore, regardless of the setting, Demetrius warns that this will have consequences. Later, Alistair celebrates the protagonist's admission to the academy with a dinner at his expense. Additionally, he tells Akira not to be discouraged by his man of measurements, but Alyssa harshly points out the burden Akira has become. Changing the subject, Akira asks if nobles are really that strong, to which Alyssa replies that most of them are gold rank, causing Alistair to call her pessimistic. In this case, with the mention of gold rank, Akira asks how many creatures they can summon, leaving everyone in shock. Alyssa becomes furious at Akira for not even knowing this, but after scolding him, she explains that they can summon at least one medium-level creature. While Alyssa puts this on a pedestal, Akira wonders if it is truly that impressive. Thus, he asks if anyone can summon an advanced creature. Laughing at him, Alyssa says that forming a contract with such a creature is impossible. Moreover, summoned beasts consume mana, which would leave anyone exhausted. This is why gold and platinum ranks are treated with such high regard. In summary, there are 3 such summoners, so Alyssa asks if Akira understood, but when they hear no response, the two realize they are truly doomed and Alyssa apologizes for putting so much pressure on him. At that moment, Annie enters the room, crying and panicking, startling everyone with her desperation. During her analysis, the professor realizes why the princess was so enthusiastic about a summoner with only 70 mana. In reality, as happened before, there seems to have been an error due to the boy's absurdly high mana quantity. This is a rare case because the crystal's limit is enormous, and a 4-digit number indicates platinum rank. But Akira's numbers started with 0, followed by 70. Therefore, it might indicate a 5-digit mana level. Something extraordinary. With this in mind, it's easy to understand why his identity was hidden, but just then, Alistair bursts in, shouting for Maverick's help. This is because Anthony is in critical condition, brutally injured. Both of his arms are broken, and there may be internal organ damage. The professor agrees that this is bad, which infuriates the students of her superficial diagnosis. As a team member was attacked by an opponent, Alyssa argues that the competition should be cancelled, but the professor explains that she cannot override the prince's orders, so the competition will proceed. Hearing this, Akira thinks the nobles are incredibly cruel for doing such things with impunity. Meanwhile, Annie cries, saying Anthony knew he couldn't win, but remained steadfast to uphold his honor. In the end, he says this is the price for the princess's kindness and dedication. But such actions are easily forgiven by those in power, and Annie begs them to stop hurting. She pleads on her knees, saying she will do anything for Anthony to participate in tomorrow's competition normally. While they listen, everyone grows angrier, but Annie confesses it feels like she is expecting such humiliation. Immediately after, they break Anthony's bones horribly. Hearing all this, Akira tries to control himself and not let his emotions take over, because this is common among aristocrats. But at that moment, Anthony stands up, saying he will still participate, thanking everyone for the healing. Obviously, his friends insist that he cannot get up yet, but he displays remarkable resolve. Anthony declares that if they wanted to take him out of the game, they should have broken his legs instead of his arms, leaving everyone shocked and Akira deep in thought. In contrast, the professor is amazed to see her students' determination, and with his agreement, two decide to proceed with the task they discussed earlier. In a magic circle, Anthony stands at the center while the others watch. The hero observes that this is a true ritual for forming a contract, wondering if Anthony will be okay given his injuries. Regardless, the professor instructs them to begin the transfer contract, and Annie shouts, warning that it's too dangerous. The other two agree, pointing out that Anthony has just reached the silver rank and is attempting a contract with a creature above his level. At this moment, there is a risk of running out of mana, but Anthony displays an artifact given to him by the professor. His pride is a summoner. With this, the amount of mana needed to summon powerful creatures is reduced by 30%. Naturally, Annie panics, but the professor continues the ritual, seeing that her student is just like her. Regardless, this task will not be easy, and at the moment of summoning, everyone feels the surge of power. Determined to fight, Anthony demands the spirit Jin submit to him. With the summoning complete, Anthony is left severely injured, but the professor is astonished that he managed to finish it. Alistair, meanwhile, is thrilled, and Annie becomes emotional, hitting Anthony for taking such a big risk. Akira, on the other hand, watches the whole scene in surprise, realizing for the first time how difficult a contract is. Smiling, Maverick declares that Anthony is now a mid-class summoner, and Anthony credits it all to her guidance. However, the professor reminds him not to forget that, as this is a mid-level spirit, it will require a lot of mana. Even with the artifact, Anthony will always be on the brink of exhaustion, but he says he is ready for that, because just having the chance to win tomorrow is enough to take any risk. The next day, the official competition at the Magic Academy begins, and all the students are present to witness the duel. As a result, some people comment that they're expecting an entertaining show, while elsewhere, a gentleman expresses his pleasure in meeting Prole. This makes the girl a little flustered at the flattery, though her colleagues still treat her with some superiority. Everyone says it's an honor to work alongside her, but the gentleman hopes today's match won't disappoint her. In response, Prol assures him there's no need to worry because she already knows who will win. The gentleman agrees that the noble team is indeed stronger and is curious to see how long the others will last. But since he misphrases his comment, Prol clarifies that she's curious how long the noble team will endure. The gentleman politely remarks that Prol is mistaken, but the mage stands firm in her conviction that in this competition, the normal team will prevail. Before the competition begins, a woman is irritated and questions whether the princess is desperate. To her, it makes no sense for a competition where one side has only a single silver rank participant. It's clear the princess admires common people, but she shouldn't have made such a fuss over that summoner. As a result, the woman declares they will put an end to this quickly and volunteers to go first. Another girl wishes Patricia good luck, but at that moment, someone else steps forward to take her place. This person, known for bullying the weak, is the second son of the Fonwell family. On the allies' side, the professor organizes the vanguard and explains that Akuro was made captain as a decoy. The real captain will be the assistant, Anthony, which even the hero agrees with. Initially, the protagonist wants to gather as much information as possible, though he remains worried about how the vice captain will manage. Finally, Anthony calls everyone together to deliver a final message. He tells them that if each of them faces this challenge with honor, they will surely find a way to victory. With this motivation, Princess Medisfina's team enters the arena, surprising the audience. As the event begins, the announcer introduces the participants in today's competition. Under the blue banner are the representatives of the common people. In the intermediate positions are Aloy and Patricia, both gold, ranked alongside Demetrius. Meanwhile, under the red banner, the nobility is represented by Captain Carius, also gold ranked, and assistant captain Pranicris, similarly ranked. Upon hearing the lineup, the princess is delighted that Akuro is the captain, commenting that he likely wants to explore the other team's capabilities. However, he could have easily won if he had gone first. With that, the prince remarks that he is excited to see how her secret summoner will surprise him. In response, Metis reminds Oswell not to forget his promise, though he shows little commitment. Regardless, the princess tells the hero to act as he sees fit, as she will take full responsibility. Before the match begins, Demetrius passes by the commoners group, hurling insults, and shamelessly tells Anthony that when they lose, Annie will return to the brothel. This makes the hero think of him as just a generic villain, but despite his irritation, Akuro calms himself, knowing it's time to see what aristocrats are like. After the introductions, Prenic laughs at how defeated the children look and regrets not going first. However, at that moment, she notices Prol Brace in the stands. She immediately approaches to disturb the mage, and Demetrius also joins to flaunt his nobility. Though Prol maintains her composure, she is deeply irritated since she is also a commoner. Regardless, the nobles continue to praise her before the competition begins. Prol, thinking it over, decides to play along, telling the aristocrats not to worry as everyone will have their chance to prove their worth. Without further delay, the trumpets sound and the hero thinks everything is unnecessarily extravagant while the rest prepare. With the princess observing, the first match is set to be Demetrius against Alistair. Oswell comments on how sad it is for a noble who identifies as a commoner, and Metis knows he must feel inferior. Pranique yells that the boy's audacity will make him lose everything, and the event begins. Demetrius mocks, asking if his brother hears the voices condemning him as a disgrace to the Fongwell family. Alistair, disappointed, says he once loved his little brother, ripping his shirt to reveal a well-trained physique. Naturally, this surprises everyone, but the warrior wastes no time attacking. Demetrius screams that it's inappropriate as he prepares a spell, but Alistair dodges all of them. Unexpectedly, the commoner is incredibly fast and the noble can barely keep up. To everyone's surprise, Alistair manages to land a wrestling move. To the spectators' astonishment, the elder brother slams Demetrius to the ground and punches his face so hard it cracks the floor. Unexpectedly, the fight seems over, causing varied reactions among the audience. But before Alistair can finish, Demetrius manages to defend himself with a barrier spell. Having used earth magic on his hand, Alistair couldn't land his attack, and now, with hand-to-hand combat failing, the younger brother retaliates. He uses earth magic to create a column that slams into Alistair's stomach. The damage is considerable, and, as his allies worry, Oswell boasts about the superiority of magic. The noble prepares another spell, declaring this to be true earth magic. Anthony shouts shouts at Alistair not to use his body for defense, but it's too late. A column of earth rises beneath Alistair, hitting his chin. While the allies panic, Demetrius exudes confidence. As Alistair cannot yet read mana flows, Prol accepts the outcome, and at that moment, Professor asks if Alistair has already been defeated. The mage then realizes she is facing Maverick, the strongest necromancer in the East. Quickly, the allies rush to take their comrade to the infirmary, but Alistair's condition is dire. Everyone is shocked by someone treating their brothers so brutally, and Annie feels useless, while Anthony struggles to hold back tears. Without further discussion, the guards carry Alistair away, and, as Akira expected, the nobles are taking things to extremes. In the second duel, Annie has her clothes torn by Demetrius, who mockingly says he'll be gentler with her. Prani finds the humiliation amusing, but her friend remarks on how disrespectful it is. To the allies, this is truly inhumane, and the professor comments on how many different spells Demetrius uses. Prol, however, believes the noble is adding enchantments to himself, since control in 3 elements is rare. This demonstrates what happens when emphasis is placed on the number of spells rather than innate talent. Above all, Prol notes the lack of rigorous training at the academy, which was established to defeat Odars. As the region is home to the Mayan family of heroes, the strongest of all, there seems to be no reason to develop magic in such a place. But an enemy exists against which even the hero's power will not be enough. The undead Odars would always regenerate immediately after a physical attack, multiply, and drain life. In this case, the professor agrees, stating that it all started with the death of Savord Mayan. Even though he saved his wife, it was a defeat for the heroes. It was also ignorant to think that the only way to damage them was with magic, and that their numbers would grow as they absorbed vital energy. The problem is that they cannot be defeated with insignificant magic. Fatal wounds can only be caused by the strongest spells in a specific attribute or by attacks from advanced creatures. Therefore, many mages are not needed against them, leading Prol to suggest that the academy should separate students into advanced magic and advanced summoning groups. Moreover, if someone capable of mastering both were to emerge, that person could very well be the savior of the world. Back in the duel, Demetrius taunts Annie, asking why she isn't crying and apologizing again, threatening that she'll end up completely exposed if she doesn't. However, Annie takes the bold step of removing her cloak, leaving everyone embarrassed. She then declares that if the noble pervert wanted to see her naked so badly, he should have just asked. In the past, people came to her any work to invite her to the academy because of her gift with fire magic. The scholarship she received was the reason she came, knowing that earning her diploma could change her life. The noble students, in addition to their natural talent, constantly refine their abilities through the fruits of wealth and influence. This had a direct impact on Annie's results, even though she worked hard in her studies. Still, she didn't give up and pressed forward thanks to her companions, who were just as ordinary as she was. Through all the difficulties, Annie made it this far and realized the most important thing the academy had given her. It wasn't the skills of a mage or the promise of success in life, but her dear friends. With that, she declares that if Demetrius wants to mock instead of compete, she wouldn't serve him at beer even for 10,000 coins. Clearly, the noble becomes irritated. Both prepare their spells to collide. Annie's allies are deeply concerned, while Prani finds Annie's audacity to compete in firepower amusing. However, Prol notices that Annie might have a chance, and the 2 fire spells collide. At that moment, a storm of flames rises, and the professor notes that Annie's strength is inferior, but Prol observes that Annie's magic was cast first. Apparently, the noble's fire magic is an additional enchantment. Thus, Annie's magic should be superior. However, as a silver rank, Demetrius has far more mana. In this situation, the mage realizes Demetrius is using mana enhancement, and Annie feels the impact of this unfair advantage. Her allies try to offer support, while Prani happily comments that the doping is working. The enhancement comes from a 50-year-old mandrake root, and Demetrius consumes 3 sprouts, filling him with magic. Although Annie's fire is strong, the odds start turning against her. Lacking enough mana, Annie succumbs to the pressure and takes the spell head on. Her allies avert their gaze, unwilling to watch, while Demetrius, victorious, mocks her condition. In response, Annie acknowledges that her fire was stronger but only lost due to the mana disparity. For this reason, she refuses to accept defeat and vows to win next time, which Prol supports. Without delay, her friends rush to help her, and Anthony praises her performance. However, all Demetrius can think about is making her regret the way she looked at him. Prani then asks if Demetrius is tired and wants her to take his place. But with a murderous glare, the noble declares that he doesn't need help because he intends to crush every one of these pests. Elisa is next to fight, and she is warned not to attempt the impossible. She responds that she isn't foolish enough to need such advice because a fight like this isn't wasn't worth it. In the past, Elisa dreamed of being radiant like the light on stage, believing that art was her true path. This is why, even after arriving at the academy, she didn't dedicate herself much. For her, being a mage was simply a path imposed by the country, and this competition only serves to feed egos. She is now prepared to give up. Hearing this, Demetrius tells her to stop resisting senselessly because the winner is already clear. Moreover, all stubbornness has its limits, and Elisa's persistence is starting to irritate Demetrius. Despite her convictions, for some reason, Elisa decided to fight until the very end. To Anthony, it seems she just wanted him to stay out of the way as she always complained. Others also told her to stop because she was running out of mana and in terrible condition. This led Demetrius to point out that even her allies were telling her to give up. He then offered to let her quit now, but if she didn't, he threatened to break her neck with his next attack. For some reason, Elisa simply smiled, leaving the noble confused. Preparing a spell, Elisa told him that she knew he was acting this way because he was also getting tired. In response, Demetrius countered her spell with one of his own using earth magic. The two collided in an intense explosion, causing injuries on both sides. Her friends panicked, while even the enemies were surprised by Elisa's strength. To her, it didn't matter how aristocratic a person was. She could tell that with so much mana, Demetrius must have done something before the fight. But even if she protested, no one would believe her. At that moment, Elisa realized she might be overthinking things. Then a spell struck her directly, causing her allies great concern while her opponent reveled in his triumph. Among the competitors so far, Demetrius praised Elisa for making him sweat, but he grabbed her hair saying her tricks had run out. Her allies watched in horror as her friends screamed desperately for her to give up, but Elisa had grown tired of it all. Initially, Elisa had wanted to attend the Magic Academy and leave her music school behind. However, her father had told her it was a royal decree, and out of respect for him, he had asked her to at least graduate. At that time, she was selfish and couldn't go a day without blaming the princess. The idea of giving common people a chance seemed ridiculous to Elisa, and she would want to get expelled. But when she joined the academy, she found friends who became trustworthy companions. Through her studies, she realized that everyone else was in a worse situation than her, yet none of them lost their kindness or their ability to make others smile. In an unexpected move, Elisa grabbed Demetrius's wrist, shocking everyone in the audience. Just like Demetrius, Elisa had always been self-centered and had never worked hard to achieve things as she only thought about what she wanted. That's why she couldn't give up now. She needed to repay her colleagues' support by forcing Demetrius to use more power, easing the pressure on Anthony. This enraged Demetrius like never before, but Elisa prepared a spell to end it all. Unexpectedly, she used it to drain mana, revealing her trump card to everyone. Enraged, Demetrius struck her face with great force, horrifying the audience. He then beat her, shouting that he hadn't permitted her to drain his magic. Yet, Elisa continued to drain his mana, deeply moving her friends. At this point, Elisa had accepted her defeat and clung desperately to the hope of giving her comrades a better chance in the next battle. No matter what, Demetrius declared he would kill her since she refused to stop. Annie screamed, crying as the attack unfolded. Sadly, Elisa was struck down, much to the dismay of her friends. However, even unconscious, she refused to release Demetrius's arm. Demetrius commented that she was lucky to still be alive. Annie quickly rushed onto the battlefield while the nobles watched this display of determination. Meanwhile, Akira told Anthony that he needed to ask a favor of him. The favor was to switch places, but Anthony warned that someone with only 70 mana wouldn't stand a chance against Demetrius. Regardless, Anthony decided to enter the arena because he could no longer watch. With certainty, he resolved that at least Demetrius would be defeated. The professor announced that Anthony was the strongest in the class. At this moment, Alistair appeared, prompting Akira to ask about his injuries. Thanks to recovery magic, Alistair was fine, but Elisa had even suffered a cervical vertebra fracture. Nevertheless, with healing magic, she would recover, and although Alistair wanted to stay by her side, she had asked him to watch the fight instead. Elisa, determined, appeared in the arena despite everyone's concern about her condition. Alistair remarked that it didn't seem right as rest was necessary, but Elisa insisted that Anthony would make her pain worthwhile. Thus, fourth match begins. The noble asks if the boy is feeling well since his friends did their best to weaken him. Additionally, there is still one remaining weak member on his team, but for him, the true opponent is Anthony. Demetrius then activates a firepower spell he had been saving for this moment. It's an intermediate level fire magic, and everyone is shocked at what it might cause. Excited, the boy shouts because he knows Anthony won't be able to win using only low-level summons. He then activates his medium-level fire spell, causing wind to rise throughout the area, and Demetrius feels proud. However, unexpectedly, the commoner responds with a summon of the same level, much to the noble's dismay. Confident in his abilities, the vice captain asserts that his opponent won't be able to defeat his new middle class, Jin. The enemies, naturally, are left speechless. As a silver-ranked summoner, it makes sense for him to have such a contract. He orders his enemy to accept the incoming attack, and as everyone focuses on him, Anthony prepares a spell. These are the Forbidden Wind Blades and medium-class Wind Magic. That's why Anthony told him to accept it. He knew Demetrius was running out of mana. However, the noble refused to make it a joke and raise a stone shield. Impressively to the professor, he was also able to create magical barriers, which led Prol to realize he was obsessed with quantity. Nevertheless, Prol notes that it won't help because wind spirits like Jin are far more powerful than that. Thus, the rock shield crumbles. Demetrius yells at the boy to admit that such a summon is impossible. Even with his pedigree, Demetrius cannot accept losing to a commoner. It's something he won't admit. Regardless, whether it was Anthony's skill or not, the defenses are shattered once more and the boy prepares a decisive strike to prove his power. However, like a true coward, Demetrius surrenders. Obviously, Akira and Prol think he won't be forgiven so easily while Pranny finds her comrade pathetic. An explosion follows, and to the princess's surprise, the attack was cancelled at the last second. At this moment, everyone sees the coward that this noble truly is. Demetrius asks why the spell was withdrawn, if it was out of pity or to humiliate him. However, Anthony responds, asking what he's talking about since Demetrius himself just surrendered and it's forbidden to harm an opponent afterward. Furthermore, Anthony extends his hand, reminding him that this is an official competition at the Stromheim Academy of Magic. With mixed reactions, Akira thinks that Anthony truly embodies a shonen manga protagonist. Pranny, on the other hand, finds it appalling that Anthony is pretending to be knave. Refusing help to stand, Demetrius leaves, defeated. The princess feels overjoyed, declaring that this is what can be called a true victory. However, her brother comments that this is nothing more than a child's game. Metis asks if the prince is belittling the fight, but he says no and adds that he simply feels sorry for the commoners who don't understand who they are. They also don't understand what gives nobles their title, or what it means to face one in battle. From birth, nobles gain key skills for warfare and are tasked with protecting the royal family while managing the people. On a battlefield where every move determines life or death, an unqualified person in a high position leads their allies to ruin. That's what it means to be an aristocrat. And Aloy says he cannot tolerate weak people causing problems for others. Some are surprised, while others are disappointed. But the prince insists that this is what being a noble entails. The fact is, occupying a position of great responsibility requires competence. Thus, the fifth duel between the blue and red banners begins. Frankly, the boy cannot understand the reason behind so much altruism in a battle with a predetermined outcome. The princess is already in a losing scenario as Marianne will force her to abandon politics. The opponent asks why he has such a hypocritical smile, but the boy says that what he's doing is not just for the princess, but also for their future. He recalls what the nobles said about weak people and resolves to show him what miracles can be achieved through determination. However, before he could do anything, Aloy surprisingly summons a golem. To everyone's utter despair, the golem crushes Anthony into the ground like a monster. At this moment, Anthony's friends cry out in despair, and Amy threatens to step in to save him. Anthony, for his part, already expected this outcome, but didn't know Aloy would be so fast, or that the gap between a gold rank and himself would be so vast. The princess, on the other hand, is impressed, and Keisha explains that it's an intermediate level golem. Faced with this, the representatives of the nobility are disappointed, and Anthony's friends admit defeat, much to the prince's delight. The boy hadn't expected such a significant difference, and in his mind he can only apologize, feeling that, in the end, he achieved nothing. More than anything, he apologizes to the princess, but suddenly, the golem's foot begins to move closer even after the fight was called off. Anthony is utterly desperate, and before it strikes, Aloy says he'll make the boy remember today's punishment. However, an even stronger golem appears, destroying Aloy's golem and preventing the cruelty. Everyone is stunned by what they're seeing, and Prol in particular becomes thrilled. After tossing Anthony aside, Akira announces that Anthony already accepted defeat and that he'll now be the next opponent. Moreover, Akira asks Aloy if he truly believes common people are annoying because he knew someone similar who used to make similar judgments in the past. During his time as a mangaka, Akira humiliated less talented writers, influencing them to give up. Using his own experience, Akira furiously declares that such an attitude is nothing but arrogance, that Aloy believes that because he has had money and talent since childhood, he has the right to look down on others. In response, Akira declares that he'll show the noble what true talent worthy of a high position looks like. Finally, the princess feels hopeful and shouts about their chance to win. The prince, however, cannot understand what kind of summing technique doesn't require a circle. He calls for Ermira, but she remains calm, confusing the prince further. Meanwhile, Metis asks her brother what he thinks about it, claiming her summoner will face all the gold ranks and change the course of the academy. Anthony, baffled, asks what's happening, and Akira apologizes for lying and prioritizing his own comfort. However, from now on, he promises not to hide his power or run away from responsibility. With determination, Akira yells that he'll handle the rest and defeat those jerks. Naturally, his allies can't believe such a bold statement, but they quickly remember that Akira's summon a mid-level golem. Pranny, on the other hand, shouts that his interference is against the rules, though for some reason, she seems deeply afraid. That's because when Akira prepared to fight, Pranny realized he wasn't just some iron-ranked man. Proll confirms the error in the crystal's measurement, claiming that this is only the tip of the iceberg. Maverick expresses concern about Pranny's power, as she was the first to notice Akira's true strength. However, Proll insists that the aristocrats won't win. After all, Akira has more mana than her and is at a platinum rank. Back to the complaints, Pranny demands Aloy call for a violation, but the noble admits he was also in the wrong. Thus, the sixth fight begins with Aloy still confident that he'll demonstrate the difference between the two. Analyzing the situation, Aloy realizes the information about his opponent was false, but summoning a golem like that requires a lot of mana. The noble asks if Akira can keep up with his golem. Unexpectedly, the protagonist's golem uses a sweeping kick. Naturally, everyone is shocked, and Aloy is forced to face reality. Akira, however, continues yawning as if bored before preparing to finish things. With the previous sweep, Akira's golem lifts the noble's golem off the ground and throws it far away, shattering its head. Spectators from all sides are in awe, and Elisa cannot comprehend what's happening, seeing how Akira's golem moves like a human. No one can help but be impressed. Pranny and Patricia begin to feel real fear as Akira's golem speeds up as if receiving a buff. The professor comments that such a buff is rare due to its high mana consumption, and Proll agrees, pointing out that the crystal misrepresented Akira's mana as 7, confusing their opponents. Additionally, the proud, gold-ranked mages can't replicate such movements. Aloy grows desperate, questioning what kind of tricks Akira is using, and the allies remark that Akira's golem's legs seem to float in the air. At this point, the noble can't do anything against this iron rank, but by now Anthony wonders if Akira's rank was ever correct in the first place. During the final fight, the hero thought deeply and now realized that his opponent's mid-level golem was actually very slow. He then cuts off one of the monster's arms, leaving the spectators in shock. Even the princess, who had known him since childhood, is surprised by this feat. Pikachu warns that it's too early to be impressed because she still hasn't seen Akira's full power. She recalls witnessing an advanced class golem move faster than a fire dragon, which makes Oswell break out in cold sweat. Back in the fight, the noble realizes it's not just speed. Akira's golem is inherently superior to his own. Now, everyone understands they've been tricked, and the earlier fights were a setup to lower their guard. Furthermore, Pranny is certain that the protagonist is a professional summoner specializing in golems. Extremely frustrated by this humiliation, the noble restores his golem and activates multiple buffs at once, declaring he will end this now. Aloy pours everything he has into speed and endurance, but unexpectedly, Akira's golem leaps into the air. Akira remarks that Aloy's skills are something to be proud of, but when someone is blinded by their own talent, their cruelty turns against them. He then declares that Aloy will learn the lesson Akira had to learn the hard way, and strikes the enemy golem with a devastating blow. With the monster destroyed, the audience is left in awe, and Elisa cannot comprehend who Akira truly is. At this moment, everyone realizes that an average ranked student just destroyed a mid-level golem with a single strike. Having never seen a monster move like this, the prince speculates that Akira's golem might even be of a superior class. Katya assures the princess not to worry, and Metis replies that she never doubted him, because Akira had always been the hero she had feelings for, and the fact that he's fighting for her now feels like a dream. Faced with his defeat, Aloy reflects on how foolish she was to pour all this magic into his golem, only to see it destroyed. unemployed. However, he also realizes that he may be facing an insurmountable gap. Meanwhile, Akira's allies cheer, acknowledging that the princess's words about Akira's strength were true. Anthony advises everyone to pay attention to Akira's golem, speculating it could even be of silver or gold rank. Annie, on the other hand, is overjoyed and remarks that Anthony was right. Because they didn't give up, they witnessed a miracle. After the fight ends, Demetrius questions why his teammate left, and Eloy admits that he's no match for Akira. Additionally, Eloy believes there's no need to push himself since they still have trained specialists on their side. Next, the 7th fight begins with Patricia facing off against the captain of the commoner team, Akira. Since Patricia is a gold class mage, Akira's allies feel this might be a challenging battle. Feeling the pressure, Patricia yells that she's a gold class mage and won't lose this fight. She unleashes her water cannon at full power, an advanced level magic activated with a simple spell. Of course, she uses this attack knowing water magic is effective against golems. Unfortunately for her, Akira's golem blocks the attack effortlessly. At this point, Pranny loses all hope as defending against advanced water magic is unimaginable. Pearl explains that the enormous difference in magical power between Akira and Patricia nullifies any attribute advantages. In other words, Akira's mid-level golem is so powerful that it compensates for the elemental disadvantage. After using so much magic, Patricia needs a few seconds to recharge for another attack, giving Akira the chance to advance and end the fight. However, running out of mana, Patricia simply surrenders, leaving Akira slightly disappointed despite securing another victory. Pranny yells at Patricia for giving up, but Patricia argues there's no way to win if her magic is ineffective, telling Pranny to see for herself. Akira's allies grow increasingly excited with their streak of victories, starting to believe they might win the competition. Frustrated by the hopeful commoners, Pranny declares that they will crush their dreams into pieces. Since subduing a summoned creature requires immense energy, there's always the problem of mana consumption and the summoning contract itself. One of the most challenging tasks in the summoning profession is contracting creatures of different attributes as it causes an imbalance in the summoner's body. However, some are born talented enough to handle this, as is the case with Pranny. As a member of the first dynasty of summoners, some speculate that Akira doesn't stand a chance against her, and the prince mocks the situation, claiming that even an advanced creature cannot prevail. However, when Oswell and Nimbus's mid is a calm expression. He warns about Pranny's talent, but since Pranny isn't even the strongest in the prince's group, Midas confidently states that victory is assured and that her confidence is not unfounded. She adds that she is considering her brother's trump card, which is why she believes they will win. For the first time, the prince begins to suspect that accepting the duel might have been a planned move. Back on the battlefield, Demetrius shouts from the arena, praising the princess for her efforts, but declaring that it will all end here. Standing before her opponent, Pranny boasts that her next summoning will not only destroy Akira's golem, but will also crush him. Pranny, the surprise to find herself facing a professional in golems, proclaims herself a true summoner with pride. She summons 2 advanced spirits simultaneously, one of water and one of fire, opposing attributes, leaving Akira's allies stunned. Demetrius, filled with excitement, urges Akira to summon his golem and begins envisioning his victory. Frankly, Akira thinks he could easily handle these enemies by sketching the beasts from his book. Alternatively, he could simply copy the 2 spirits since he has enough mana and is observing them firsthand. He also considers sketching and modifying a beast based on his own illustrations. Ultimately, Akira concludes that as long as his perception doesn't violate the laws of this world, he can summon anything if done correctly. Since Katya and Prawl already know about his abilities, there's no reason to hide anymore. Breaking the enemy's spirit is now the priority. Thus, Akira uses his drawing ability to summon Salamandra and Leviathan, shocking both Pranny and everyone else. The students in the stands question what they are seeing, while Medis wonders if Akira is joking. What Akira just summoned are divine beasts, creatures Medis had only ever seen in books. Realizing that a commoner possesses contracts with such entities, Pranny falls to her knees, convinced it's an illusion. The prince stands up in anger and demands Medis explain who this commoner is. The princess responds that she told him from the start. This is the hero of her memories, the one she always admired. He is far superior to the aristocrats and undeniably the strongest among the commoners. Pranny, now certain it's not an illusion, begins questioning if these types of beasts even form contracts with humans. Believing Akira to be merely a golem specialist, she asks who he has a contract with, and Prol bursts into laughter. Unable to contain herself, Prol announces that what they discover about Akira isn't even the full story, because for him, there are no attribute restrictions or compatibility limits. That's because Akira might be the only one in the world capable of summoning Veda contract. Hearing this, Oswald's expression finally changes. While the students are stunned, the professor tries to comprehend what's happening, and others remark that they have never seen anything like this. If contracts aren't necessary, it means Akira can summon any beasts in existence whenever he pleases. If true, the students believe it explains everything, and they commend the princess for her brilliant choice. Katya, thrilled by the rising reputation of the princess, feels hopeful as victory now seems within reach. However, the prince grows furious and displeased with how things are turning out, as this could become more than just a loss for the nobles. It could elevate Metis's popularity to unprecedented heights. Back on the battlefield, Prani kneels in defeat while Akira remarks that it's better to avoid unnecessary conflict. He declares that he will end the fight with one attack from each beast to make the power difference clear. Combining the attacks of Salamander and Leviathan, Akira creates a fiery water blast. Even at minimal power, the attack leaves Prani utterly terrified. As she considers surrendering, she opens her eyes to see both of her advanced class spirits completely destroyed. It's absurd that Akira can obliterate two advanced spirits with a single attack, but the prince realizes it's no illusion. Everyone now understands that these divine beasts aren't illusions. They are real, and this marks the beginning of an extraordinary student's journey. With another victory, the spectators go wild, chanting for the summoner of the people. Summoning divine beasts without a contract is a groundbreaking innovation and a feat that will be remembered in the history of Stromheim. Prol, meanwhile, smiles as the noble team has nothing to say, and facing her opponent Akira, compliments her summoning skills. However, since everything is already decided and he doesn't want to hurt her further, he kindly asks the girl to surrender, leaving her flustered but agreeing. The counters erupt in excitement, while the nobles grow increasingly worried. Keiji believes there is no one in the country who can compete with Akira, but the princess warns it's still too early to relax. She points out that the prince's determined gaze reveals someone willing to fight to the end despite the difference in power. This means he still has something that could turn the tide, and so the final match of the day begins. The captain of the red team versus the captain of the blue team. Prol is excited because she'll get to see Carius R. Grantchester in action. The prince's trump card Carius represents the noble team, and Metis wonders how he will fare against Akira. It's impressive that Carius is still able to step into the ring after witnessing Akira's power, but Prol suspects he's putting on an act. Oswald smiles and tells Metis that he's also curious to see how this duel will end. However, Prol has complete faith in Akira and boldly claims she'll bet all her money on. Carius is a gold-class summoner from the kingdom of Schaffhausen on the Roid continent, brought in by the prince to strengthen the academy. The princess, however, opposed her brother's focus on aristocratic interests and knew she'd eventually have to face him. She senses something strange, despite seeing Akira's overwhelming power of a still a tense atmosphere. Initially, she thinks it's just a bluff, but she's unsure, and Anthony knows exactly who this person is. The professor is surprised by the noble's persistence, and Prol remarks that it's simply to maintain their reputation. From the stands, Prani declares that it's impossible to defeat Master Akira, leaving her allies puzzled. Akira recognizes that his opponent is strong, but he finds it hard to believe anyone can create a summoning stronger than his own. Since Carius hasn't given up, it's clear there's a strategy in play. The spectators remain unaware of this and continue betting on Akira's victory. Suddenly, a medium-level golem is summoned to attack Akira, who counters with Leviathan. But that's not all. New attacks are launched, leaving everyone stunned. In addition to the medium golem, two supreme golems are summoned, making it 3 at once. To counter the divine beasts, each will face a matching opponent, while the medium golem targets Akira directly. Kisha realizes the 3 monsters are a distraction and yells to warn Akira, but Carius moves in too quickly. Understanding his opponent's strength, Akira targets Carius directly, aiming to cut the problem off at its root. Leviathan's attack closes in, and even at minimal power, Akira believes it will be enough. With immense force, the attack descends upon the noble, but to everyone's shock except the prince, Carius manages to defend against it. Catchy. I can't believe Carius stopped the attack from a divine beast, something that should require at least a platinum rank. However, this is the legendary defensibility of the Ryan family, one of the 7 heroic families. Realizing this meant his panics. The prince decides to reveal the truth, explaining that Carius is a direct descendant of the Ryan bloodline from the glorious sword of the Holy Church on the Roid continent, Lord Carius Ryan Grantchester. Naturally, Akira's allies are stunned by the revelation, and Akira himself is deeply impressed. It's not every day one encounters a member of the heroic families, and Demetrius praises the prince's strategy. Initially, Carius was brought to the academy as an excellent summoner, but has also proven to be a magical swordsman, which concerns concerns Pearl slightly. The professor, however, is eager to see what a mage can do against such an opponent. This is because Ryan is primarily a frontline swordsman, while mages who rely on others are at a disadvantage. Nevertheless, as a member of the heroic families who surpass even platinum-class warriors, the outcome is still uncertain. Akira feels irritated about being missiled, but knows he can't let the enemy get close and orders Leviathan to attack. Unexpectedly, Carius dodges everything, leaving Pearl and Greta uneasy, and he suggests that since it's a magic competition, swordsmen might be against the rules. However, the prince responds that Carius is merely demonstrating his magical swordsmanship and won't be using a real weapon. With a malicious smile, Oswald claims there's nothing wrong with that. As the target is small and fast, it becomes difficult to track his movements or stop him. Additionally, the hero cannot keep up with the magical swordsman's speed. At that moment, Carius advances, attacking with a sword aura and creating multiple magical blades. Proudly, Oswald comments that his representative has an excellent fighting style and asks Metas how long she thinks Akira will last. After dodging, Akira recalls his sword training with Arya, who had saved him once before. However, Carius is a descendant of the heroic bloodline, and Akira believes he will lose if he continues this way. Arya had once advised him that in moments like these, he should summon a beast in a form usable for close combat. It's true that drawing items like swords, which lack magical power, is impossible, but that doesn't mean there are no other options. In this case, Akira summons multiple small golems, making the princess assume he's betting on quantity. Pearl, however, believes it's not a good decision, and Oswald doesn't understand why. The answer comes quickly, as the golems suddenly undergo a transformation and turn into flying stone swords. In the end, Akira's plan was to summon golems and transform them into swords.